let's discover more of the beautiful Macclesfield Canal. I'm only at the beginning. I'm really looking forward to this cruise today because the sun is shining and I just think it's going to be beautiful. I'm here at Kent Green and the plan today is to travel to a spot with a view of the cloud, which I'll talk more about in this vlog as I climb it later. And after that, in very changeable conditions, I take on what's got to be one of the most beautiful flights of locks on the whole of the British UK waterway system. What we're doing, what are we doing, what are we doing? We're not doing this right. Seth, are we up for this cruise? We're getting on the boat? Yeah, and we're going to go and see all the beautiful things there are to see on the Macclesfield Canal. Come on. Good girl. Oh, hello. Are you coming for a cruise? I've called this vlog the majestic beauty of the British canal system because there's so many awe-inspiring sights along the way here in landscape, architecture and nature that I just felt that I had to celebrate it. It's one of the beautiful mileposts that you see along the Macclesfield Canal. The Macclesfield mileposts were restored in the mid-1980s because they'd all been buried during the Second World War as a precaution against enemy soldiers using them to find their way, but 3 of them still remain missing to this day, buried somewhere. Looking for is dippers. Now I've cursed it because whenever I say I'm looking for something like the waxwing, I never see it. But I am looking for dippers. This is the right part of the world to find them. I'd love to put a dipper in my journal and see a dipper. So let's fingers crossed for dippers. The dippers are going to be in like the streams, the babbling brooks, the fast moving water where they can stand on a rock and fish from and dip away. So many ducks and birds here. Oh wow. Oh, chaffinches in there. This is a different looking bridge. This is called Billy Tight's Bridge, which I'm guessing was the name of the bridge keeper that used to operate it when it was a swing bridge, because it was a swing bridge before it became a footbridge, and they used to name the swing bridges after the operators of them. A really pretty stretch ahead. You can see all the flowers. Seth has seen a really beautiful doggy. Oh, this is a beautiful turnover bridge. Look at that! Isn't that stunning? Just been having a lovely chat to Trev from Trev's Travels by Narrowboat. Trev does a lovely vlog. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video. This town is actually called Congleton and it has its own rhyme. Congleton rare, sold the Bible to buy a bear. And that came from the time when Congleton had their own dancing bear, which unfortunately died. And so the town was saving up for a Bible at the time and they decided to use that money for the Bible to buy a new bear instead. Somehow this canal starts to get even more spectacular in sight than it already has. Oh, look at this. Look at this turnover bridge. And here is the cloud. And can't you just see why? Oh, the views are incredible. And you've got the viaduct coming up on this side. Trev was not wrong. It is spectacular. Fordry's Wharf was where materials from nearby mills were loaded and carried to Macclesfield, and then when the Biddulph Valley Railway came along, it became an important transport interchange. I think this might be the perfect spot because you can just about see the cloud peeping out behind the hill. Oh, this makes me sigh with pleasure. This is the cloud. Surf, are we at the cloud? Let's have a look. It's amazing up here. It's believed that the Battle Axe people were among the first to inhabit this space, and then eventually later the Celts came along and built a hill fort here. And even though those civilisations have moved on now, a lot of the plants that are growing here today would have probably been growing in those times too. This is broomfork moss. We've got bilberries growing here. Aren't they pretty? The bilberry is associated with love, and the Celts used to send their young folk out to collect them in a festival called Lughnasadh, in the hope they would return with a basket full of fruit and a fiancé. The views across the Cheshire Plains are incredible from the top of the cloud, and it's hard to imagine it was once under sea over 200 million years ago. Oh, it's just so beautiful. That is the centre of Manchester over there. So there is the Bosley Flight. My time up in the cloud reminded me just how incredible the world we live in is. How tiny the canal looks. And when I was back down by the canal, I met a very chatty blackbird. symbolism around the visit and song of a blackbird. A Celtic belief is to hear a sudden burst of blackbird song may indicate you're in the presence of something magical or that something significant is about to occur in your life. Well, the magical thing, I think, is the blackbird itself. And the significant thing, well, in the morning I'm going to be doing the Bosley flight. Alice. Okay. Some blue sky and buzzards up there. Sunshine. Stay with us, sun. Stay with us. Sun's come out now, so I think it's going to be fine. I'm hopeful it's going to be fine. So there's 12 locks in the Bosley flight, and they're going to take us over a mile and rise us 36 feet, so that when we get to the top we'll be 518 feet above sea level. There's some unusual features on the locks, so when we get there I'll show you what they are. Yeah, it's raining again. More hail. Blue sky, look, there's blue skies there. Okay, this is going to be hard getting in with the wind, but I'm going to go in the first lock. The gorgeous stone in these lock chambers comes from what was a quarry on the Cloud. Look at you with all the blue sky around you. So an interesting feature of these locks is, even though they're narrow locks, on either end they have two double gates. And normally with narrow locks you'll have maybe a double gate at one end or a single, or sometimes two single gates, but not often do you get narrow locks where you have two double gates. And by that I mean they each open out rather than one whole gate opening that way. And that's because they were designed to be operated by two people, a boater on one side and a lock keeper on the other. So these cast iron walkways were specifically cast so they can attach these ornate rails. It's a lovely feature, isn't it? It's scary. It's a sharp left here. I was thinking I was just going to go straight. I'm actually going to think about this. Whoa! Hang on. Let's just look what we're doing, what are we doing? We're not doing this right. Go towards the wall and turn. No, I've messed up this angle. Oh, I'm doing all sorts of hitting. Oh. Come on, Alice. Wow. Oh, I don't think anyone saw. Not sure what this cross is for, but my theory is that it's to spread the load across the wall that comes from a long rod that goes through the chamber wall in order to hold the wall together. This green bank behind the lock used to hold the Thanet Valley Railway, which I visited when I was on the Colden Canal. I've actually got two hats on now. Little bench. Stephanie and Cliff. These curved iron spikes are called blocking pins, where the boater's tow rope would pulley around them and then attach back to the boat's towing mast. Then it would attach back to the horse so that the animal could more easily move the boat. It's like the world's first automatic gearbox. Here we go, walking towards the next lock. I'm really enjoying this flight. Steph's really enjoying this flight. It's incredible to think that the stone for these locks came from all the way up there in the cloud. Apparently there was a rail track for the wagons to wheel the stone down, but no one's ever found evidence of those tracks. Kathleen Ainscow. After caring for my flock, now I'm resting at Bosley Lock. Working through the locks, whilst reading the memorial benches and admiring the views in hail, then rain, then wind, then sun, was an experience that I will forever hold dear and never forget. What's this? Lock 5 garden. No, this actual lock has its own garden. Should we have a look? I love that. So no bench at this one, but it does have its own garden. It was lovely though doing the last lock and finding our home for the week. you. From the quarry in the cloud, I rest my weary legs, where the blushing bilberry bows its love-filled head, and the broomfork brushes stone in sea-green sweeps. Its spores like dust are blown down on the hills and heaps, over ornate M's that hold up trains, over sandstone horseshoe bends with rainbowed stains. They fly where billy tights once saw through boats, to where blackbird now recites its celestial notes, till they land by bench and locks that owe their rise, to where I rest upon the rocks in the quarry of the skies.